Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab. In this video, we're going to be talking about how much money my 2,000 subscriber YouTube channel made in its first month of monetization. So I've been running my HAMY Labs YouTube channel for about 4 years now, and it finally got monetized last month. In this post, I'll share how much money it made in its first month of monetization. All right, so first let's look at the lifetime stats of the channel. So we're still pretty small. We've got about 2,000 subscribers, 215,000 views, over 193 videos. And so HAMY Labs is a YouTube channel where I share simple, scalable systems for tech and business applications. Most of it follows problems, ideas, and solutions from my own software engineer and founder journey. Now, to be monetized on YouTube, you need about 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the past 12 months. I've had the 1,000 subscribers for over a year, since about 2022.07, so about July of 2022. But I never had enough watch hours to actually pass the threshold of watch time, and thus I was kind of stuck for a while. Now, a few months ago, when Pal World was released, I released a breeding guide, which got a bunch of traffic, mostly due to just the game's popularity. And, if you're in a good market, you're probably going to do pretty decent because you can kind of ride that wave. And so it got a ton of views and thus a ton of watch hours and moved me beyond that threshold, allowing me to get monetized. All right, so that was the kind of state of the channel. Now let's talk about how much money my YouTube channel made in its first month of being monetized. And so here's a screenshot from YouTube. You can see that I got about 23,000 views here. Got about 1,000 watch hours, which is what helped me get over that threshold. And then all of this made me about $62. Now, if we look at RPM, this is about $2.79. Which is pretty decent. You kind of expect $2-ish from kind of like blog stuff. From a lot of videos, you actually would probably expect this to be a bit higher, maybe around $3 or more, but it's really highly dependent on the market and the niche, as we'll kind of talk about in a second. So highlights from this are the max day is about $5.05, which happened around here. And then the lowest day was about $1.32, which is I think here or maybe here. And so it really fluctuates from day to day, the mix of traffic to videos, whatever the ads are kind of playing. And so this isn't that much money. It pays well below minimum wage if I were to, calculate this as dollars over the hours worked put into videos, but it is something and it's a start. I largely create these shares as a way to solidify my own ideas. So if I can make enough money to keep doing it and, ideally also pay for coffee, then I'll be pretty happy with it. Also wanted to do a quick breakdown into the kind of top videos by revenue. And so, as we talked about just a second ago, kind of the revenue per video is highly dependent on a lot of things. And most of this is going to be like the macroeconomic trends, but also based on kind of the niche or the category that a piece of content fits into, because that's going to kind of change what advertisers want to bid for this video and thus how much they're going to pay for it. And so I wanted to break out kind of the top 5 videos by revenue I had in this past month, including their kind of estimated category, to just kind of surface these patterns. And so my highest revenue video is that Pal World breeding guide, again, kind of driven because of its popularity since release. And so this would be like the video games category. And so we can see that it made me about $20 off of 22,000 views. And so this is the highest revenue video I have by far. But if we look at RPM, it's actually really low. It's only around 91 cents. And so if we're expecting about $2 for blogs and at least $3+ for videos, this is actually pretty low. And it kind of makes you think that video games maybe just don't have that much of an ad following. But again, this is small n calculation, so take it with a grain of salt. My next two come into the kind of web development categories. Of course, this is just a guesstimate. I don't know what YouTube actually categorizes them as, but this is what I would categorize them as. And so it's HTMX versus Alpine here with about 1,500 views, making about $5 or $6 with an RPM of 390, which is pretty good. And then this one on why you should choose HTMX versus single page applications, with 2,500 views, again, $5, but the RPM is actually lower here, around 2. So this makes you think that, web development things are going to make around the $3 mark on average, which is pretty good and definitely better than, the video games. The next one was a surprise to me. This is basically how to fix a common bug in the Lenovo ThinkVision portable monitor, which I bought. I made this because I couldn't find a solution, but I was like, nobody really buys this monitor. It's not that popular, so it won't get that much money. And so we can see that it didn't get that many views. It only got 700 views, but its revenue is about $5. And this gives us an RPM of almost 7, which is pretty high. I think this is because of its electronics, and electronics are like big ticket items. And so people are going to pay a lot more for ads because if someone does buy that thing, they make a lot more money. So that's something to keep in mind for future videos here. And then finally, why F# is a fun programming language. This is more on the programming thing, and F#, is a very niche language. So I didn't really expect this to get that many views. It did pretty well with 1,900 views. Revenue is about $4, and its RPMs around 232. This kind of goes to show that like web development, programming, it's probably going to have a $2 to $3 RPM, so not that high. Probably because, I don't know what you would sell to individual developers really, especially around programming. So that's my guess around there. Next. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the state of my shares, and it's nice to have a bit of money coming in to balance out the cost of running the channel, but hopefully it'll cover my coffee expenses sometime in the near future. If you like this post, you might also like why I write online as a software engineer, unlocking understanding, memory, and progress. You might also be interested in my journey from software engineer to entrepreneur and back again. And finally, you might be interested in my post on what is HAMY Labs to kind of understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing all this. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.